The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The oral arguments on the controversial anti-terror law will finally continue today. To give us updates from the ground, we have Marlene Alcaide joining us live from Manila. Marlene, good afternoon. Could you give us the latest on this?
Yes, Charles, after a month of delays following the surge of COVID infections in the country, the Supreme Court is finally resuming the oral arguments on the anti-terror law today. But this session will be extra special since it is the first time that justices have allowed to conduct Supreme Court deliberations online. The first ever online oral arguments will tackle the 37 petitions challenging the anti-terror law. During the last 4 hearings, the petitioners have already raised their points and presented their arguments as to why the anti-terror law should be scrapped. Now it is the government's turn to defend one of the most contested law in the country. Solicitor General Jose Calida is expected to begin his defense on the anti-terror law this afternoon. This will also be the first time that the newly appointed Chief Justice Alexander Gesmundo will preside the proceedings. Charles, petitioners have been asking the Supreme Court to issue a temporary restraining order on the anti-terror law, and we will see later how the SC will decide on the matter with a new Chief Justice at the helm. Charles?
Thanks for that, Marlene. That was Marlene Alcaide reporting live from Padre Faura in Manila. The government admits that health departments plan to conduct mass testing will be a challenge, especially for contact tracing. In an interview with Radyo 5, contact tracing czar Benjamin Magalong says that contact tracing ratio in the Philippines has increased to 1:6. However, this is still far from the ideal ratio of 15 contact tracers per 1 COVID patient. Despite the shortage of contact tracers, Magalong says they have no choice but to prepare for mass testing. As for now, they are set to train and retrain a total of 249,000 contact tracers in the country.
We have to face the reality na talagang kulang. Kulang ho talaga. Tapos pati ho yung kakayahan ho nila, kulang din. Dahil nga siyempre, pag wala ho yung follow-up na supervision, wala ho yung appreciation ng leadership, the same time, kung hindi naman ho talaga sila directly involved dito sa pag-analyze sa contact tracing, talagang malaking factor ho yung kung bakit mababa ho yung cases natin. Kaya kulang pa ho yung mga encoders natin na kinukuha naman natin doon sa hanay din ng ating mga contact traces. Kaya talagang ang laki ho ng epekto. Pero we have to do what we have, with our present resources. Kailangan ho, i-optimize na lang po natin certain. Wala ho talaga tayong magagawa. Kulang ho talaga.
Magalong also admits that the integration of the Stay Safe app as a national contact tracing service is still a work in progress.
Kaya pinapag-aralan po ng DILG yung kanyang mga dynamics. As of this date, ang capability pa lang po ng system is yung digital logbook. Yung parang nagsusulat po kayo sa papel, pero instead sa papel, digital po yan. Pupunta po sa isang central repository. Ang inaayos po ngayon yung exposure notification niya para kung sakasakali po napadikit po kayo sa isang positive patient o kaya naidikit ka sa isang positive patient, mag-alert po sa phone mo para alerto ka.
An infectious disease expert warns of prolonged symptoms among patients who have already recovered from COVID-19. In an interview on One News's agenda, infectious disease specialist Dr. Jean Solantes says even young COVID-19 survivors still experience symptoms, such as shortness of breath and loss of appetite after recovery. He explains that these are caused by severe inflammation of internal organs when these are infected. And the expert also noted that prolonged symptoms only show how much we still don't know about the coronavirus. Solante also advises COVID-19 survivors to stay vigilant, as they could face a more severe form of COVID-19 once they get reinfected. He also notes that lungs of COVID-19 survivors may only partially recover, and full recovery from the disease may take some time. Those with health problems are also advised to regularly consult a doctor to monitor their situation.
But these are patients na talagang pinapauwi na natin, and then they still have symptoms na nahirapang huminga, pag gumagalaw talagang merong madaling mapagod, no? And some of this, yung appetite nila hindi bumabalik, and talagang it will take several weeks pa rin na before sila maka-fully recover, no?
More and more community pantries are sprouting across the country. The MWSS, Maynila, and other water utilities have now joined the initiative, using funds raised by their own employees as well as donors. For more details, we have Shaila Francisco joining us live via Zoom from Quezon City. What do you have for us, Shaila?
Charles, today was Maynila's turn to host its own community pantry at the office grounds of MWSS in Quezon City. Maynila was aiming to give food supplies to 500 and up to 1,000 beneficiaries. As early as 4 a.m., people lined up outside the MWSS office in Old Balada, Quezon City, to receive food supply from the community pantry. Barangay and local officials are also present to remain patrons to observe social distancing. The community pantry is part of a 5-day program spearheaded by MWSS. The project began yesterday to help nearby residents with limited budget to access food for a few days. Stubs were also given to recipients, mostly those who were not able to enter the community pantry yesterday. All supplies given out are from food and money donations of Maynila's employees who volunteer to help out in ways they can. Unlike in other community pantries where the residents can get as much as they like, Maynila has assigned staff to hand out supplies to ensure safety protocol and to spread out help to as many beneficiaries as they can. For today, Maynila sourced their goods from excess supply of farmers. Let's hear more about this with Maynila Government Relations Head Annette Del Campo and MWSS Chairman Ray Velasco.
Namimigay na tayo, namamahagi ng pagkain. Tumutulong pa tayo dun sa kabuhayan ng mga farmers na apektado rin ng pandemic na ito. Nagbibigay rin kami ng market sa kanila. Kagaya nito, medyo malaki-laki na rin yung nakuha namin. And galing yun sa mga excess harvest ng mga farmers natin. Kasi yung mga farmers dahil din sa pandemic, kumonti din yung mga namimili.
Lahat ito ang usapan, voluntary ng mga empleyado. Kung sila, sumisido naman sila, no? So, kumakain silang 3 beses, baka makashare naman sila ng konti para dito sa ating mga mahirap. So, nag-agree naman sila na mag-donate, gustong tumulong. But sabi ko, okay, pero individual kasi hindi kami alaw ng kuha na pundo ng iwas. So, sila nag-donate, pati mga rangan file, nag-solicit sila.
Charles, residents who weren't accommodated today are still encouraged to go tomorrow to the community pantry hosted by Manila Water. The community pantry project by MWSS will last until Friday. Charles?
Thanks for those updates, Shaila. That was Shaila Francisco reporting live from Quezon City. Chloe Zhao just became the first Chinese and Asian woman to take home the Oscar for Best Director. Now, many are wondering whether the prestigious award will help smooth feathers ruffled by some controversial comments Zhao made about a decade ago. Let's get the latest details from this Bloomberg report.
Chloe Zhao has become the first Chinese and Asian woman to win an Oscar for Best Director. But fans in China will struggle to watch the award-winning Nomadland with uncertainty surrounding its release date. Our media reporter Shirley Zhao joins us now for more. Hi, Shirley. First, tell us about Chloe Zhao and how she got to where she is.
Thanks, Kurumi. So Chloe Zhao was born in Beijing in 1982. Her father was a top executive of one of China's largest state-owned steel companies. He later got into real estate and equity investment. Her stepmother is actually a very well-known comedy actress in China. She went to a UK boarding school before studying political science and then film in the US. One of her early films, called The Rider, became one of former President Barack Obama's favorite films for 2018.
And she's had a difficult relationship with Beijing. The release date for her film is now in limbo. Give us a bit of background here.
When she won the Golden Globe for Best Director at the end of February, China was full of praises for her, with state-backed media, Global Times, praising her as the pride of China. But then some internet users discovered that back in 2013, she, in an interview with a magazine, described China as a place where there are lies everywhere, and suddenly China's social media started to turn against her, with people saying she insulted China, and some hashtags related to her film Nomadland were censored on social media, and Chinese authorities ordered its media outlets not to live broadcast the Oscars ceremony and to tune down their coverage of the awards to focus only on non-controversial awards. And Nomadland, which was scheduled to be released in China on April the 23rd, was never released.
So could this win help soften Beijing's stance against her?
Some analysts believe that her victory could soften Beijing's stance against Chloe Zhao, but it also depends on whether Chloe Zhao will clarify her previous comments. So analysts believe that Beijing has been very eager to claim credits for someone who succeeded at one of the world's most prestigious entertainment awards, but they also want Chloe Zhao to meet them halfway by publicly clarifying her previous comments. During the ceremony, when receiving the award, Chloe Zhao mentioned her China origin and also mentioned some texts in the Confucius classic by saying, people are inherently good, and it's her belief in this goodness that has kept her going through difficulties. And we'll see how China may react to that. So far on China's social media, individual internet users are mostly positive about her, but we haven't seen really massive reporting about her award from mainstream media. That could be something to do with China's censorship on the award. But we'll see how China may react to her victory.
All right, that's Bloomberg's media reporter, Shirley Zhao.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again later at 1 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.